I'm breathing underwater, I'm weightless through space. I'm soaring like an eagle all over this place. Creatures most will never see are waiting there to look at me, and all I gotta do is breathe underwater. By 1980, Boeing had tried to radically change the design of their planes, but it didn't catch on, so they went back to the other way. The Seaview tracks that thing as far as they can, but eventually lose it. They're in the middle of a speed run to rendezvous with the Pacific Fleet, so they'll ignore it for now. We watch the saucer slide into the ocean, similar to how the flying sub does it.
Skipper, better check this reactor reading. She's starting to rise rapidly. Approaching the critical line, sir.
What's our speed now, Chip?
Over 60 knots and climbing.
Admiral, this is Crane.
Yes, Lee?
The reactor's approaching warning level. I'd like permission to damp it down.
Well, the automatic control should handle it. If at all possible, I want to maintain flank speed till rendezvous with the fleet.
That's nice, but it's not at all possible. The automatic controls aren't controlling. The temp has reached the red line, so he says, okay, reduce speed and damp the reactor down.
There's no response to the control.
Missile room, emergency.
Missile room, aye.
Get a man into anti-radiation gear. Have him shut down the pile by hand. On the double.
Aye, sir.
Patterson puts on the gear and heads in.
What are you doing there? Come on, get out, quick!
I don't know why he took his hood off unless it was to see better, because before that guy touched him, Patterson was sure he was hallucinating. And that's why. Harriman Nelson may be a superhero in his own right, but even he can't handle that kind of radiation. You may be able to guess that today we're dealing with an alien who can mimic anybody on the crew. I can see a really good reason for doing that. We don't have to pay a guest star.
He's still breathing. Get him out of here fast. Come on.
Don't go with it. The radiation is white hot.
How much more exposure can we take?
10 seconds. We better get out of here.
If they can't take more than about 10 seconds of that even in their suits, that means the news isn't good for Patterson. The sub is a mess. Things blown out, they can't get the reactor under control, and their emergency generator can't produce enough power to blow their ballast tanks. They're dead on the bottom.
Gentlemen, I have an important order for you.
I'd better give you a complete rundown on our situation, Admiral.
There's no need. I've already made my estimate. I want you to prepare a nuclear missile for firing.
What do you mean?
The order is self-explanatory.
We can't fire those missiles, not without White House authorization.
I want the missile made ready. Is that clear?
Aye, sir.
This is kind of a weird time to come up with that. They need to be a lot closer to the surface to fire their missiles, and they don't have a way to get there. So what's the deal? And who's he planning to nuke? By the way, Admiral Nelson has been practicing some stage magic. How do you like his disappearing trick?
A strange mark on his face. A sort of burn. If I didn't know better, I'd say it was made by a branding iron.
How do you explain it?
I can't.
What's his general condition?
Terminal. He accepted a massive radiation dose.
Isn't there anything you can do for him?
I can make him comfortable, but that's all. The effect of that amount of radiation is irreversible. He's going to die.
Please tell me we aren't writing Patterson out. He's a good character. Paul Trinka made his screen debut in 1959, but this is his magnum opus. He made Patterson into a character we genuinely care about because he's one of the nicest, most decent men on the boat. Irwin liked him and later tapped him for a couple of roles in Land of the Giants. Unfortunately, his final role came in 1971. That was when he learned he had brain cancer. It killed him 2 years later at the age of 41. You know, when the final judgment does come, I want a chance to kick Satan and the Nads for inventing that stuff. It's the most insidious evil on the planet, up to and including the fake Admiral Nelson. That's what Patterson wants to talk to the captain about.
In the reactor room. When I went in, somebody was already in there.
That's impossible.
No, sir. He was in there, sir. I tried to get him out, but he knocked me unconscious.
He didn't even know about the explosion until after he woke up in sickbay. And he says, "You're going to find this hard to believe."
Oh, there's an explosion. Oh, what happened?
You better have Doc look at that.
No, it's nothing but a bump. The last thing I remember was the sound of an explosion. What was it?
We're dead on the bottom. There's not enough power to blow tanks.
He explains that Patterson is dying of radiation exposure, but he had a fascinating story to tell about what was in the reactor room.
In effect, he was murdered.
Murdered? I don't understand.
He caught someone sabotaging the reactor.
Who?
You.
There's a little issue with that. If Admiral Nelson had been in there long enough to sabotage the reactor, take down Patterson, and cause that explosion, he should be glowing like a bank of stadium lights. Yet he's radiation free. He says, "I was here the whole time working until the explosion knocked me out and you found me."
You were in the control room after the explosion. You talked to me, you gave me an order.
What order?
To prepare a nuclear missile for firing.
Oh, why would I give you an order like that?
That's what he and Chip would like to know. Among other things, they can't fire a missile because of the failsafe system. We've seen it before. It requires 4 senior members to turn a key in 4 different locations to arm the system, and I can think of at least 2 of those who would decline to do so. So Nelson says, forget the missile for now. We have to do something to save our butts.
We have to shut down the nuclear power. You know, water is one of the most effective shieldings against radiation. If we can flood the reactor room, we can do it. And once we get the main generator going, we can clear our tanks and get off the bottom. Unfortunately, the only way we can flood it is from the outside.
A hole in the hull, that's a big risk, Admiral.
He says a 3-inch hole should be enough. Any more than that could be dangerous. Less won't do the job. Kowalski has his instructions, he has his equipment, and he has a team to back him up.
Who's that? Kowalski? Kowalski, do you read me?
Sure glad he has that team out there to keep an eye on him wherever they are at the moment. There's no physical way electricity could have gotten to that part of the hull, but it did. Scratch that plan, bring him back in. Every so often we hear the guys called Kowalski ski. That triggers a little story. During my short time in the Army, I spent a fair bit of it in the hospital, and I got to know some of the people who worked there. One guy I interacted with a lot wore a name tag that said this. Everybody around him called him Ski. I usually just talked to him and didn't have occasion to call him by name, and I was just as glad. But names have always been a hobby of mine, and I finally couldn't stand it. I pointed to his name and said, "How do you pronounce that?" His answer was epic, at least to me. He said, "I don't."
Reactor room quarters sealed off.
Good. Now, can a work party reach the main generator?
Not until we find some way to shut down the nuclear pile.
Well, what's the radiation level on the rest of the ship?
It's still within safe limits.
As long as the temporary generator holds, we've got a little time to figure it out.
You had to open your mouth. Their MacGyver fixes won't hold forever. The trouble is, there's only one way to shut the reactor down. Another man has to sacrifice himself and go in there. Nelson says, not necessarily.
There's one man aboard who's already as good as dead. Now, you said that yourself.
Patterson.
I told you it would shock you. Under any other conditions, it'd be the last thing I'd do, but right now, it makes good sense. Nothing can save Patterson, but he can save the lives of 125 men just by walking into the reactor room and shutting down the pile.
I'll speak to him.
Patterson knows the score. He knows he's departing this Earth very soon. So why not go out as the hero who saved the ship? There are worse legacies to have. Or not. Suddenly he's in a coma. The doctor can't explain any of this. Somehow, every avenue for getting the reactor under control gets blocked. Then again, even a nasty alien has a hard time dealing with one man's determination. He wasn't about to order anyone to do that, so he did it himself. But with the radiation under control, a work party can get to their main generator, repair it, and produce enough power to get them off the bottom. They still don't know what it cost them. Nelson assumes Patterson did it.
Doc?
Admiral.
Is your captain here?
Oh, no, sir. He left some time ago.
Has Patterson come back yet?
Back, Admiral. He never left.
Nelson knows what that means. Now Captain Crane is in sickbay, dying alongside Patterson.
I'm afraid there's no power on Earth can save him, Chief.
I'd make a deal with the stars if they could help.
Remember, he said that because our alien definitely will. Kowalski reports that the generator is working and they can blow their tanks. They're heading up. But by now, we observers know that they can only do that because their uninvited guest is letting them.
Admiral Nelson. Who are you? It's rather like looking into a mirror, isn't it? It amuses me to assume various appearances, but of course it's not all mere amusement. I find it gives me a certain initial advantage. Besides, I don't think that you Earthlings could stand the sight of my actual appearance.
He's not crazy about your current appearance either. What does this thing want?
I've decided to take you up on your offer. What offer? It's the one you made in sickbay. I don't recall making any offer. Oh, but I do. Vividly. Let me refresh your own memory.
He's gonna die. I'm afraid there's no power on Earth can save him, Chief.
I'd make a deal with the stars if they could help him.
He says, let's make a deal. I can save your friend and Patterson. In exchange for what?
Your silence concerning me. And a small favor. Such as, oh, patience, Admiral, patience. Agree to the deal, and Crane will be saved. Patterson, too, of course. Well, not until I know what the favor is. Sorry, I cannot tell you in advance.
Back in merry old England, some people would raise pigs and bring the young piglets to market to sell. Since pigs are notoriously squirmy, the seller would sometimes put one in a bag called a poke. A prospective buyer could peek into the bag, see the quality, and haggle about the price. But some sellers wouldn't let you look in the bag for whatever excuse/reason. Many times someone bought a pig sight unseen and got it home to discover that they had bought a feral cat. The expression "don't buy a pig in a poke" came to mean always check the merchandise before you hand over your money. This guy wants Nelson to buy a pig in a poke. But here's a simple solution, Admiral. Think. Masquerading as you, he told Crane to get a missile ready for launch. What do you suppose the favor's gonna be?
You promise that Crane and Patterson will live. You have my personal guarantee. Is the deal made? It's made.
Chief Sharkey is checking on him when he gets a call to come to sickbay.
Blood pressure, pulse, temperature, blood count, basal metabolism. Would you say that was the chart of a very sick man?
I'd say it's the chart of a remarkably well one, wouldn't you?
I don't know what to say anymore. I took these readings from Lee Crane less than 10 minutes ago.
Hey, Doc, does this mean what I think it does? The skipper's getting better?
Not getting better. He is better.
Patterson likewise. Our invader kept his word. Now the only question is, what is it going to cost?
How did you get this, Admiral?
It was a little accident in my cabin. It's not important. Why?
Because I treated another burn today exactly like it.
Who?
Patterson. On his face.
Hey, Admiral, look, he's okay.
How do you feel, Patterson?
Fine, sir. Never better.
Hey, how about that?
I'd like to take another look at that burn.
Okay, sir. Help yourself.
Props to the alien for being thorough. Repairs are going nicely and they're on schedule to meet the fleet. Crane says they should be there within a few hours. But in Nelson's cabin, it's time to pay up.
It's our Pacific Fleet. We're on our way to rendezvous with them now. Yes, Admiral, what will be a very fateful rendezvous. Look, and you shall see what the future will bring.
Let's let Richard Baseheart chew the scenery a little.
It's all ridiculously simple. Only one button to push. Just one button. And with it will come the greatest catastrophe the world's ever seen. It will be a thing of sheer beauty. Massive retaliation and counter-retaliation until the whole world is a cinder pile of devastation. I can almost taste it now.
May I say, I love the accent. I also love the way he completely changes his whole face to be the alien. I know from the comments that the majority of you agree he was an actor's actor.
Why? Why? Well, other worlds besides your own are faced with a population explosion, Admiral. Ours is such a world. We need yours to expand on. And the radioactivity that will result to feed our minds and bodies.
They live on radiation. They can't just find a barren planet and irradiate it. They have to take someone else's space. And they can't just blow us up themselves because...
Unhappily, we are so psychologically oriented that we cannot kill. To accomplish that act, we must depend on other individuals. In this case, Admiral, you. Therefore, you will push the button.
Has it occurred to you that he might have the same psychological hang-up? Our boy doesn't care. But Nelson is counting on their elaborate, uncrackable fail-safe system to keep it from happening.
There, you see? Only one more key remains to be turned. Yours.
Never mind. According to him, when Admiral Nelson agreed to the deal, he surrendered his will. The alien can force him to use his key. Then it really is a matter of pushing one button. Nelson says, "Suppose I refuse?"
We have made a pact, you and I. There is no way in the world that you can refuse. Turn the key. I can't. Turn it.
Okay, I'm starting to think this guy is a little more right than I'd prefer him to be.
Whatever you may feel, you are no longer master of yourself. Press the button, Admiral. Press it. Press it!
He pushed the button and the missile went straight to the advertiser's headquarters. The network never forgave Irwin for doing that.
No! You're a fool, Nelson. You know I can arrest death. I can also reverse that power. This can cost your friend his life. Lee Crane made his decision to die when he deliberately walked into that reactor room.
There's no way this thing could understand that. He comes from a race of selfish, arrogant creatures who really think they're the bomb and the rest of the universe isn't.
No man's will is stronger than mine. No man!
I'm pretty sure he's proving you wrong right now.
You still have your chance.
Nelson has managed to break the hold over his will, so threats are all this guy has left. Too bad they're not working either. You know this critter is going to be as cruel as possible while he does this. We can't tell if Captain Crane knows what's happening, but Kowalski just noticed something a little more urgent.
Chief, come here. Chief.
Kowalski, if you got something to say, sound off.
I didn't figure you wanted this yelled all over the ship. I mean, it's the captain's place to
What are you
announce it.
talking about?
A failsafe. We must be at war.
Oh, war. Sure. We're at war and I'm a...
That's why he was trying to keep it quiet. Captain Crane is baffled.
When did this happen?
I just saw it. Right, Kowalski?
Right, Chief.
It can't be activated. I never use my key.
This isn't the station where his key goes anyway. This is Chip's. His is in the missile room. Better go check on it. The pain is getting worse, but I'm not sure he's put it together yet.
Yes, sir.
Are you all right now?
Yes, sir. I feel fine. Just great. How about yourself, sir?
Just fine. Look, I've got some work to do on failsafe. Get these boys out of here.
Aye, sir. All right, you guys, let's clear out of here. Captain's got some top secret work to do. Come on, let's go.
Sure enough, his station is switched on without his key. There's no time to sort out how it did that. This is way too dangerous to be left like that.
Does it hurt very much, Captain?
He's going to offer Crane a deal. I save your life, you do something for me. Just like Nelson, you don't get to know what it is. Admiral Nelson is on his way to find you. Do you want him to find you dead? Has he ever tried shaking the other hand? That one has issues.
Chip, the failsafe was sabotaged. Only an expert could do it, one of the designers. The Admiral's the only man aboard who could qualify. Put him under arrest.
Lee.
That's an order.
Motive, Captain. Why would he do that? For now, nobody's asking.
Aye, aye, sir. Chief. Sir.
What have we done with Crane?
He's suffered a mental breakdown.
Morton says, take the Admiral to his cabin. Pseudo Crane says, no, the brig, with a round-the-clock guard.
Well, this way, Chief. Oh, no, the brig's that way, sir.
I'm not going to the brig. We got to get to the missile room fast.
Oh, I can't let you go there, Admiral. You heard the captain's order.
But that wasn't the captain.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, I know. It looked like the captain, but that is an alien from outer space.
Did he listen to that in his head before he said it out loud? If not, he should have.
Oh, sure, Admiral. I saw that right away.
You did?
Oh, sure. I mean, but I tell you, we'll fool him. He expects us to go to the missile room, right? But we'll go to the brig instead. Come on.
They'll struggle all the way to the missile room. The fake captain gets there first.
Take out your key to the failsafe, Captain. Your will is not as strong as Nelson's. The pain you've been through has weakened it. The key, Captain.
The alien is right. He can't resist.
Put it in the failsafe.
Admiral Nelson is at the hatch. The question is whether Captain Crane can hold out long enough for him to get in there and stop the alien.
Push it, Captain! Quickly! Quickly!
Answer? No, he can't. And the alien was right. It only took pushing one button. But there's another button that our intruder forgot about.
It's too late, Admiral! The missile's on its way! The fleet system is destroyed!
The self-destruct button. Admiral Nelson has resisted him, and now Captain Crane is in no shape to serve him. By the time he were able to get control of Chip or Sharky and start the process again, they would already be at the rendezvous point, and his opportunity would be gone. He's beaten.
Sportsmanship, Admiral, is not our strongest suit. You have beaten me in a battle of wills. My superiors don't like it. I'm being recalled.
I used to read a lot of science fiction with alien races like this one. Being recalled usually meant permanent reassignment to an office 6 feet underground.
But time is on our side, not yours. There will be others who will visit you, other wills to battle. Sooner or later, the nuclear holocaust will come, and our day will dawn on the Earth.
Our day will come.
He steps into the reactor and disappears. Will he or someone like him be back? I don't know, and for the time being, I don't want to know. As Charlie B. Barkin said, let me be surprised. Richard Basehart and David Hedison both got to let themselves go and act like wild megalomaniacs, and I'll bet it was more fun than they could put in words. Crane and Patterson are both okay. He did concede that much in defeat. I knew we weren't going to kill Patterson off. He'll be here pretty much to the end of the series. That's good. I like him. In fact, I think everybody does. I said before that I don't mind the alien stories as long as they're good stories and consistent. This one is, the story is fine, but we never really saw or learned the full extent of the alien's abilities, so it's hard to say whether it was consistent or not. But we don't watch this one for the story. We watch this one to see our 2 stars show off. The split screen scenes weren't as well done as they could have been, especially in terms of the overlay, but they both pulled it off. I'm still amazed by that arrogant smirk that Richard Basehart pulled when playing the alien. How did he do that?
All I gotta do is breathe underwater. Breathe underwater. Breathe underwater.
From your comment, from the tip, creatures. I'm pretty sure he's proving you. His is in the middle. Middle?